and look forward to the future with confidence. For God is a God of the future. And whenever God speaks, he speaks about tomorrow. And it doesn't matter how messed up today is. Don't lose your mind. Don't have a heart attack. Don't die. Don't have a nervous breakdown. Just live, just live, just live. You're going to pass the cave and you're going on to the palace. But whatever you do, never forget the people who were with you in the cave. Now when you get to the palace, all the great ones come. But remember the cave friends. The friends of the cave. Those are the ones that you want to always remember. Because remember, they locked into you not because of what you could give them. But the relationship is not based upon rewards. It's based upon chemistry. So the people, Pastor Scott, the people that resorted to him at this time were critical people. These people will help to forge and fashion his future. And it doesn't matter how great a man is. He needs friends to help him to get where he's going. We have a lot of dysfunctional people in the church. Have no friends and boast about it. I don't need nobody. That's a lie. Everybody needs somebody. Well, all I need is the Lord. That's a lie too. You need more than the Lord. That's why when you're in despair, you feel depressed, because nobody paying you no mind. Everybody needs somebody. And everybody should have a friend or two. Particularly well in the caves. Now let me move on. The second thing I'd like you to consider with me is the magnetic attraction of a leader. Leaders have magnetic attraction. Like magnets, they draw people to them. The first verse tells us that he dwelt in a cave and his family came. The second verse tells us that a second group of people came to him. And this is a group that I want to talk about on this Father's Day. Look at the second verse. And everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. They were with him about 400 men. From merely looking at the text, the second verse, superficially, one would tend to conclude that everybody in Israel came to him, or everybody that was in trouble came to him. What the text means is that everyone who came to him was in trouble. David attracted people. But it seems that during the cave era, all the people that he attracted, people that were messed up and people that were in trouble. God gives some people finished products, and he gives some people things that they have to work with to bring it to a finish. Many women are not for a man that is a finished product. I was talking to a sister recently, and she was talking about she want to get married and what the man has to look like and what he has to have and the kind of education and the amount of money that he must make and where he must live and what he must move her into. And while she was talking, I was looking at her and I'm wondering, I'm looking at her to want these things. But anybody that have all those things, he has a punch list too. I mean, any cat that have it together and have all the stuff that you say he must have, he got a punch list. Can you measure up to his punch list? And you know, I don't have no sense, so I asked her, I said, and what is it? She said, never you mind, I know. I said, whatever that is, every other woman have it. And probably some of them can handle theirs better than you handle yours. What is your claim to fame? Well, But he has a punch list too. There are some things that he wants. And she is pushing 40 something, you know, and still by herself. Because probably her expectations are so unreal. So she said to me, you always putting somebody down. I said, I'm not putting you down. I'm just trying to tell you, wake up. You're going to have to work with something because you are not exactly at the top of the list. You are closer to the bottom. And if you're closer to the bottom of the list, and come on, we need to deal with reality here. To understand that whatever you're going to do, you're going to work with it. You're going to have to take something that is not all that great and ask God to give you wisdom and work with it. And together you fight and work your way up and learn. Then you might get all the things you are dreaming of. But don't think that you're going to start on that level. You limit your options. You should see the look that some women are giving me. It's okay. And that's precisely what the text deals with. David is the king apparent. David is the man chosen by God to be the next king of Israel. Saul sat on the throne. David had to get a coalition together to help him achieve his ends. And God did not give him the best. God did not give him the princes. God did not give him the generals. God did not give him the educators. God did not give him the people at the top of everybody that God gave him were messed up. But David walked with them and made them winners. And that's what I want to talk about. Most of us have not won because we're looking for finished products. And what we consider finished product are usually so distorted and so full of themselves that they are not prepared to give credit to God for anything. The text. Everyone that was in distress. That's the first category. Every man that came to David fit into one of these three categories. And the first category was everyone that was in distress. But let me back up for a moment before doing that. If you read the second verse, one of the things that struck me is that David did not recruit these men. David did not recruit them. He didn't go around trying to recruit them, get them to come. No. He stayed in the cave and the men came to him. I don't know if you're with me. Had David, those guys would not have been a part of it. But the men were drawn by God. And I believe that there's some dudes out here that are drawn to this place by God. He didn't do the recruiting. God drew the men to him. Somebody said, well, Bishop, I don't know that. In 1 Samuel 10, verses 26 and 27, the Bible tells us that the same thing happened to Saul. When Saul became king, and after Samuel presented him to the people, and the people turned to go home, and Saul turned to go home, the Bible says that they went with Saul, men whose hearts God had touched. A band of men were bound to Saul because God knitted their hearts with his. So it seems that whenever God selects someone to do a job, there are people that God selects and knit them together with that leader. David did not recruit the men. The Bible says that these men came to him, and every man that came was messed up.